I added here is basically the WAR file of my application. I didn't need to change any code of that. And I'm pointing to a certain version of my application. The interesting thing is that pointing to different versions would be as simple as just changing the code here. So if I want to upgrade my application or use another version of application, I don't need to create a new image. All I need is just put it accessible in the S3 container and launch the application and grab it from that point, and that's it. Obviously, there is more details into that, such as security setting, roles, and all those type of things that will be part of that descriptor, but that configuration will be deployed in the environment itself. So to wrap up and start the open discussion, and I've seen that there are some questions here already, I wanted to kind of point who is actually using it and how they use it, what are the actual use case. The most interesting one is a telco organization that built a SIM provisioning application and didn't want to host that application on the cloud because they figure out that that application is facing a lot of fluctuating load whenever they launch a new campaign. But other than those campaigns, it's fairly stable in a relatively low number of machines. So obviously, using cloud on that end made a lot of sense for them. They had an issue there with dealing with security, for example. How do you interact? I see that there are questions here. I'll answer those questions as soon as I finish that slide, so don't worry about that. The challenge that they had is that this application also was referencing backend system in the organization, ERP system and other services. So how can you take that type of application and deploy it in the cloud? What they did is a very interesting model. They basically deployed the front end, the web containers, on the cloud, and use a secure channel to their backend services that runs on-premise. For that, basically, I would refer as a hybrid cloud. They were able to be elastic on the front end. They were able to use our cloud tools to automate all the deployment, all the monitoring, and still connect to the backend systems and save a lot of cost as a result of that. Another telco company built a software as a service application. Their challenge was taking an application that was not built for software as a service, and they wanted to leverage the software as a service as a model by taking that voice over IP application, a call center application in this specific case, and host it somewhere else. So again, just to make it clear, previous to that, a customer had to install that in their local data center, connect it to their PBX and their switch, and use it. That was the only way he could use it. What they wanted to be in is that he will be able to just connect to a service and use that service to manage the call center and make that service connected to its PBX and without installing the actual call center application on their IT premises. What they had is several challenges that is relevant to anyone who is looking for taking an application and trying to move it from a standalone application to a software as a service model. Obviously, the first one would be scalability, managing customers or number of concurrent users of one organization versus managing concurrent users of all the customers is going to lead to a lot of concurrent users, and obviously the application needs to be re-architected. Another thing is the lifecycle management and obviously the performance and reliability that I mentioned earlier as the challenges. So rather than developing all that themselves, they chose Gigaspaces and basically built the application. They were able to run on 150 machines and get fairly low latency. Low latency is something that is not that easy to achieve in the cloud because all the communication was based on an in-memory messaging and didn't really go through any file system operation in a critical path of the application. Another global media company was able to basically run the pilot model that I mentioned earlier. They had a new application, a new game that they wanted to launch. They were not sure that that's going to be a successful application. They didn't want to invest and buy a lot of hardware and resources to manage that application. They wanted a quick way to deploy it